Good morning, ma'am.
Please. You are?
Pankaj Soni.
Okay. So tell about yourself, Pankaj.
So I'm Pankaj Soni and I'm chartered accountant by profession. I belong to Jetaran, a town in Pali district of Rajasthan. I completed my schooling from there, after which I pursued my chartered accountancy and my BCom honors from Jodhpur. And currently I am working in Indian Oil Corporation, a Maharashtra company. And for the last 4 years I am working in areas of taxation, accounts management, and currently I am in finance corporations. And my hobbies and interests are in watching period dramas and cricket.
Okay, so what is the meaning of Jaitaran?
Sir, Jetaran is named based on a warrior called Jeta who fought a run there.
Okay, and Pali?
Sir, Pali is named based upon the Paliwal Brahmins.
Okay, great. What is full form of ASHA?
Sir, accredited social health activist.
Do you think they have made a difference?
Yes, sir, definitely. In rural areas especially, they are working for the grassroots healthcare improvement in the society. They are helping in the child
Okay, so
upbringing.
you have some idea how the parameters have moved. Which are the parameters and how they have moved regarding child health and maternal health?
So first of all, we have improved our sex ratio in Rajasthan. We are
Okay.
then
What is the sex ratio now?
Sir, it's 888 at the birth. in
888?
Rajasthan. Yes.
Okay. And improved from, what was it earlier?
Sir, it's around 10 points. I'm not know exact count.
Okay. And what else?
Sir, it's also reduce the malnutrition in the areas.
No, how do, see, we measure something. Two other indices are there. Sex ratio is one, something to do with mortality.
Maternal mortality and infant mortality.
Yeah. So what are the indices now?
So I'm not aware about the exact numbers of these indices.
Okay. For the country, what is the maternal mortality? Are you aware?
So it's around 30. I'm not definitely sure.
30. Maternal mortality. 30 per what?
Per lakh, I think, sir.
It's around 140 per lakh. And what about child mortality?
I'm not aware of the exact numbers.
It's about 27. Per what?
Per 1,000.
Yeah, per thousand what?
Per 1,000 born.
Live births.
Yes.
Okay. And which survey or how do we measure these?
National Family Health Survey is the latest survey we have all these data are incorporated in it.
But actually, on a continual basis, institutionalized is called sample registration survey. That's what measures it. Okay. Okay. You are a chartered accountant, and you have been working with IOCL. How IOCL has been affected by this Russia-Ukraine war?
So IOC is definitely affected by the Russia-Ukraine war because the Russian crudes are under sanctions, and when the crude price rises, it's touch up to 120. At that point of time, our government of India's active measures and the diplomacy help us to procuring the discounted crude from the Russia. It is because of that procurement, the oil marketing companies are able to produce petroleum products at a rate which are reasonable for our citizens.
So IOCL was also buying from there?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no, people say that only Adani was buying from there.
No, sir.
So the inside story is that IOCL was also buying.
So definitely IOC is the largest importer of the Russian.
Okay. And buying and doing what? Selling where?
Sir, IOCL has around capturing around 50% of the market of India, domestic market. Its exports are not that much of value. The Reliance is the major exporter of the.
Exporting to whom?
Sir, Reliance is exporting to European nations as well as
Yeah.
from African nations.
So Europe is buying petroleum products through India now,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. Yes, please.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, morning Pankaj. Pankaj, I find that you're a chartered accountant and presently working in a multinational PSU.
Yes.
Well, let's start with your accountancy and since that's your field. Uh, you heard of the term called GAP, GAAP,
Yes.
and correspondingly the GAS, GAAS.
Sir, I know about the.
You're a chartered accountant, you should be applying all this. Okay, come on, let's hear about GAP. What is GAP? GAAP, and how is that in practice as far as the Indian accounting system goes?
So general acceptable accounting standards
Principles.
principles. The GAP is a generally accepted principles on the accounting. In international, it is governed by the IFRS, International Financial uh, Reporting Standards.
Yes.
And in India, we adopted in as a Ind AS, which having certain carve-out from the our international standards based on our own requirements. So currently, India has this Ind AS requirement.
Correct. And what are the cardinal principles on which we have imbibed on and we have made modifications?
Sir, sorry, sir.
What are the cardinal principles of GAP? There are 8, 10 principles which have been enumerated. Not aware of. Anyway, what is GAS? GAAS?
Sir, it's related to auditing standards.
That's right.
Generally
Accepted auditing standard.
Sir, currently in India we have auditing standards as mentioned by the ICI. We are not having the standards matching with international practices. But NFR also has this standard quality standards for the auditing of the listed companies. So in India we have not the similarities with the international.
Okay, you raised about NFRA. Who is the chairperson of NFRA now? Okay, doesn't matter. And what does the NFRA do?
Sir,
And what is the latest judgment of NFRA, which just been pronounced 3 days back?
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, NFRA is an independent regulator of auditing in India. Previously, which is driven by the ICA mechanism, which is from companies that it is given power to the NFRA to enhance independence and the quality of the auditing in the India. In last few years, NFRA has two significant findings. First of all, they have a report on the big four companies regarding their quality of auditings. And secondly, yesterday NFRA has made a penalty on the chartered accountant for not providing effective due diligence for tax claims.
Correct. Okay, you come from Rajasthan.
Yes.
Tell me what 4 attributes of Rajasthan where you could be proud of. Proud of.
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, Rajasthan's rich cultural heritage. We have blend of their past meet with the present. Second, the rich geography. We have a huge geographical landscape with different biozones. For example, we have desert, we have hill areas, we have beautiful lake cities like Udaipur. So, and the third is our society. Rajasthan has a rich social background which are imbibed from its culture. For example, we have a culture-driven society which respect our cultural values. And the third is, and the last is Rajasthan's new potential in areas of business. Rajasthan is now growing at a much faster pace, especially in the industries. For example, we are major food processor in the country. We have a millet production. We have ranked 1. We have a crude production. We have a large cement
Okay.
industries in this area.
I take your point. 2 personalities of Rajasthan whom you would like to imbibe in your life.
2 personalities. First of all, the one is Maharana Pratap, is a historical figure who fought for his independence and autonomy. And the second, the Sambit Sharma, IAS officer in Rajasthan, who work in areas of generic medicines through which they will reduce the out-of-pocket expenditure of the marginalized society.
Last question. Did you read today's newspaper?
Yes.
What's the good news which is there in all newspaper? The headlines, some good news for India.
have revised our first estimate of the next year's GDP, which said 7.3% growth, and
It's not next year, it's the current year, current financial year. Current financial year up to March fiscal year, they have declared a growth rate of 7.3 GDP. And which are the sector which is most contributing to this GDP in this 7.3? NSO has just released that data. Which sector is contributing the most?
So first, construction is a sector which is contributing
Good.
the most, and the manufacturing sector also.
Mining.
Mining and manufacturing.
Thank you. Shashwat, Pankaj, over to my next panelist.
Pankaj,
Yes, sir.
5 minutes.
you mentioned Udaipur.
Yes.
There is a place, Kumbhalgarh, near Udaipur.
Yes.
Hmm? What the historical importance for which you being a native of Rajasthan?
Sir, Kumbhalgarh is a fort of the Mewar dynasty of Rajasthan, and one thing we'll be proud of that, it is the second longest wall in the world.
After China Wall.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it is said that the fort has never been won by any external power.
Okay.
It's also,
There is an important Jain temple nearby.
sir, it's Ranakpur Jain Temple.
Hmm?
Ranakpur Jain Temple.
Kanakpur. What is the importance of that temple? It's a beautiful temple, grand temple.
Sir, it's a white marble temple of Ranakpur. It is famous for its archaeological expertise and the significance. It is said that the pillars of these temples are constructed in such a way that they are symmetrical in nature.
Okay. Nice, good. You are fond of traveling.
Yes, sir.
I am happy. But how does traveling help you become a better human being?
Sir, traveling, first of all, I am aware about the various historical background of ours. For example, I visited Rani Ki Vav in Gujarat.
Okay.
When I heard about that, we have a palace beneath the land. So I am curious about how this structure has been built.
Where did you go last time?
It's more than 2 years now.
Where? Aya, कहाँ गए थे?
So, sir, I visited Rani Ki Vav in Modhera that
Okay,
time.
okay.
And then recently I visited two places, for example, Pavagadh in my nearest area of Vadodara.
Oh, fine. So, again Rajasthan. We have sand dunes.
Yes.
Sand dunes have bad habits of shifting. So there is a sand dune and there is a village there next to that sand dune. So what will you do to stabilize sand dune? You are district magistrate. Think of. With the help of DAF and all that, you would like to do something to stabilize that sand dune so that that village remains safe. So what comes to your mind? What will you do? 1, 2, 3. Will it?
Sir, first of all, if possible, I will go for the afforestation program, especially in the.
So you will cover sand dune with?
No, sir, not sand dune, but the area surrounding the sand dune.
So you will make a green belt.
Yes, sir, from our local species of
Fine.
game.
Green belt.
And these
Have you seen the sand dune?
Yes, sir, my maternal native place in these areas of Rajasthan.
Which area?
Lohavat in Rajasthan.
Hmm? Have you seen afforestation over sand dune?
Sir, I see in areas of Osia where the sand dune has been covered with certain native species of
Name a native species.
और वो खेजड़ी होंगी.
Fine. So treasury is the solution. Last question. Import of this thing, Russian crude has helped Indian oil marketing company, all financial, even the private player. But Russia is the aggressor in the Ukraine-Russia war. So helping economy of an aggressor, is it a good idea?
Sir, the war of Russia and Ukraine have their own dispute. For example, Russia's aggression to Ukraine has its own, for example, reasons. They said that they are protecting their sovereignty.
Come nearer to the question.
So, sir, I think that we protected our national interest when crude.
Okay, our national interest. That is one move.
Yes, sir, definitely.
As simple as that. Fine, please.
CA Pankaj Soni, assume that you have been appointed as the auditor of a big firm and you notice a minor mistake in the financial statements while the CEO asks you to ignore that mistake. What is going to be your stand or opinion?
Ma'am, if the mistake is minor and the auditing standards provide me the material statement, for example, things should be material. If it's impact our, for example, financial statement can be inflated this mistake, then I should go against my accepting these mistakes. But if the mistake is not so major that it will impact the financial statements and which negatively impact the investor's perception, then I will go for the revision of the same without qualifying the report.
But how would you explain materiality to a novice who doesn't know about all of these things?
Then materiality depends on the size of the firm. For example, for a company like Indian Oil, which have turnover of 9 lakh crore. So in 9 lakh crore, if a mistake of 1 lakh, we can say that it's not immaterial. Normally, our auditor, which appointed by CAG, have established their own materiality criteria, for which they have a threshold, in which if the errors and the material misstatements are above these criteria, then they will qualify reports.
Right. So all of these things are established, all the principles are established, the standards are there. But still we are seeing a huge rise in the ethical failures in accountancy and governance across firms in India. Why do you think that's happening?
Definitely, ma'am, our standards are made that our auditors will not choose the unethical practices, but the ethics which is mostly personal in nature, and the personal assumptions and the personal relations of auditor may inflate these errors. So in this regard, NFRA comes with choose for the close scrutiny, as well as ICA has this reviewing mechanism in which he reviews the conduct of the auditors.
Pankaj, can you elaborate on the costs that go into making a manufactured petroleum?
First of all, ma'am, our 90% of cost is of crude, which we import or we purchase from the domestic producer, ONGC.
90%.
90%.
Right. Okay.
After which we have some processing cost. We have a refinery plant in which we have repair maintenance cost. Then we dose certain chemicals.
Percentage?
It's around, we can say around 5 to 6% of chemical, and after which the repair maintenance.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Okay. Let's come to taxation. So do you know about the new tax slabs?
yes, ma'am.
Do you think the introduction of the new tax slabs is worthy?
Definitely, ma'am, it's worthy because first of all, it's harmonized the tax rates. It's reduced our tax rate, for example, from 0 to 3 lakhs, it's nil, and after 3 to 9, it's 5%. So,
Okay, fine.
first of all, it's rationalized the tax rates, and it's advised the taxpayer they should not claim deductions and exemptions for their incomes.
That's fine, but then don't you think it's going to create a lot of confusion among the normal people who are anyways very scared of filing taxes? Then there's an old tax slab, there's a new tax slab. Don't you think it's very confusing?
Now, what I think it is a transitioning provision. The new tax scheme has been brought down by the government of India as a transition phase. So, in the meanwhile, the government is following the new slabs only, and the old tax regime may be scrapped in the future.
Okay, fine. So you have completed your graduation from the Om Karmal Somani College of Commerce. Who was Mr. or Shri Om Karmal Somani? Do you know anything about him?
Yes, ma'am. He is a person on whose name has been made this college. He is a person who is contributing to the education, a wealthy citizen of Rajasthan who provided wealth in the construction of these buildings.
So obviously
The
he's an
highest-
educationist, that's why he contributed. But apart from that, anything else about him
Sir,
being a contributor?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the Omkar Somani College, it's not the only college contributed by the Mr. Omkar. The Maheshwari Shikshan Sansthan is the major body which has been the main body in which the Omkar Somani is just one component. They have also have schools in the name of Maheshwari Shikshan Sansthan.
Over to Mr. Pawan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Pankaj. So since it, traveling is one of your hobby, correct?
Yes.
So can you name any ancient traveler in during ancient Indian time? Or during medieval time?
Payan, Singh, and the Megasthenes is not traveler but some ambassador.
Correct. Recently, actually, our Honorable Prime Minister visited Lakshadweep, and Lakshadweep basically is considered as Maldives. Okay, but Maldives is able to attract that many of tourism, but not Lakshadweep. What is the reason actually?
So first of all, infrastructure needed for the tourism industry. Just we see as Maldives. Maldives has rich infrastructure capacity, hotels, five-star hotels, the leisure zones, the adventure resorts. The Lakshadweep lacks all these facilities. In Lakshadweep, we have not seen any major hotel chains because of their ethnic and religious and the very small community live there. So I think these are the major reasons because of which the tourism is not attracted by Lakshadweep.
And connectivity also. So there is a GST is there on education, right? 18%. Yeah. So whether it is justified actually on education 18% GST?
So the GST on education is not on the school education or the college education, it is on the private educational institutions. So in my view, the government, so although its impact all equal, because for marginalized section, this also implement the 18% and for the upper class, also 18% is the rate. But the main motto of government tax to education is not there because the mass education of schools are not being in the GST slab. Only the private, commercial, profit-making entities are taxed.
Thank you.
Okay. So how did you find your interview? Good? Enjoyed it? Okay, so you'll wait outside, we'll call you back. Okay? Hanji.
Yeah, please come.
So Pankaj, this is your first interview? UPSC first. Okay? But you are an excellent candidate and you have cracked CA. So everybody will be envious of you, and that also with AIR 20. So you have absolute potential, there is no problem at all. And but you have to brush up your knowledge a bit, that of course. Your posture is a bit frozen, that's what has been observed. So not only you should smile, so everybody sitting here will be 60 plus. And maybe, when is your interview? 19 January, morning, evening? Evening. So थके हुए भी होंगे. So give energy to them. Right? ठीक है ना? So you can take a B complex 2 hours before your exam. So that there is some energy which you have, right? Give it across.
Prescription भी दे रहे हैं आप.
ठीक है? मजा आना चाहिए यार, मतलब you are so good. Unless you go there and convey in those 30 minutes, you don't win, right? So convey it, right? And you have to brush up your knowledge on things like social indicators, of course. About travel, he asked you that also, right? But overall, you are good. You have use your hands. Sometimes you are use your hands. You don't have to freeze it at all. Okay. So 60% of the time you make eye contact with the person who asked the question. 40% time with the others. Okay, that's something which will help you. Which newspaper do you read?
Indian Express.
Okay.
For economic side.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can. Economic Times is good for you. So mark the important news, not the sensational news. Okay, mark them and read them in bit detail. Okay, should know. And also read the editorial, right? And note it down in points so that you can be specific in your answer. And this Shekhar Gupta's that cut the clutter and Palki Sharma, that will help you. There is this change.org, That website will help you. It will give you a lot of ideas. Since you have been with public sector, you may not be knowing much about how the grassroots things happen. So this will help you connect there. Okay. Change.org and betterindia.com. So these two you can read. That's all. I think since you are in finance, this merger of rail budget into that will also matter. 19 January the budget will not be there, but maybe the economic survey would be 29th के आसपास आता है?
हाँ जी सर,
हाँ?
लास्ट वीक.
Last week में आता है. So that also may not be out, but economy related questions you should expect, right? ठीक है ना? So tax to GDP ratio and GST collection and direct, indirect, all those things. Okay, so be absolutely thorough on it. We can't miss out on those. Okay? People would love to grill on whatever they know. Most likely there will be no CA there, but whatever they know, they will like to grill you on that. And anything you want to ask? Yeah.
Pankaj, you want to be a public servant? That will be a very good habit. A public servant need to be keen observer. Wherever he goes, you should observe his surroundings keenly. You are from Rajasthan. You see sand dune. The best way to stabilize sand dune is to cover it with green plantation. And that plant, which plant? You yourself planted. It has a very low root structure and it holds giant.
Yeah.
Very close. अगर आप जवाब नहीं दे पाए, then he doesn't observe his surrounding keenly where he lives. It's a personality test, not a test of knowledge. ठीक है? तो जिसने पूछा, वो निष्कर्ष यही निकालेगा कि he is not it. He doesn't observe his surrounding keenly. Okay? Otherwise, you are a very good candidate, and I am seeing a potentially successful candidate in you.
Okay?
All the best.
All the best, Pankaj.
All the best.
Just one small observation, which I marked. Your position of your hand was just like this, holding it like this, with the thumb. Yeah, that's the word. Please don't. This is not, you're not doing kam bhajan here. Be absolutely natural. Come on. You can be like this. You can elaborate your point, but not too many gesticulations, But be absolutely natural. Otherwise, you have a very pleasing personality. Be good smile. You'll add on five bonus points. Keep smiling like this. You'll get 5 bonus points. Let me tell you, you have information base. Except that you need to really brush up your DAF. So you're coming from, you're a chartered accountant, and you are grappling with what is GA. Immediately, you should have come out with it. What is GAS? What is GAP? It is something very fundamental. So that's it, and all the very best. God bless you.
Just one point. Time.
Not थोड़ा ऊपर करो.
नहीं आप बाद में कर लेना. जरा के सामने खड़े होकर. दूसरा जो थोड़ा खड़े हो. टाई जितनी लंबी है 1 इंच कम होनी चाहिए. आपका जो बेल्ट है, बेल्ट के अपर एज पर टाई की लोअर टिप आनी चाहिए. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं.
All the best.
That's right. All the best.
Do well.